Hey everyone, welcome back to Heal, Survive, and Thrive. I wanted to have a conversation today. I have some notes because I want to hit every point because I feel like at this age and stage of life, this topic is something that a lot of us go through and just how like our friendships have changed. You know, when we're in our 20s and 30s, like we just have the time to be with our friends. We have time to nurture those relationships. And as I've gotten older, I have realized that unless you just have a lot of sisters or you have that like one or two solid best friend that you've had majority of your life, it's harder to meet friends at this age. I'm 44 and life is super busy and we're all in the same playing field. I just feel like, yes, of course, all of us women could just say, we're going to start fostering our relationships and we're going to make more of an effort, but we're tired. I mean, we're tired at the end of the day. So it's just difficult. And I feel like I hear this so often from women that will say, again, unless they have a lot of sisters or maybe they have a lot of like close friends that they've had majority of their life, I think a lot of us are searching for those really significant relationships to have in our lives. We have a lot of acquaintances. We have a lot of mom friends that we might see at like sporting events or things that the kids are doing. And I feel like Saturday afternoon is my Friday night, like it used to be in my 20s, where I'm like, okay, I'm at the soccer field and I get to see like all the moms that I just love and we get to sit there. But we don't always make the plan to go out for dinner probably as often as maybe we would like to. And it's because, you know, everyone has multiple kids and then we have busy schedules and we're tired at the end of the day, really, that we just want someone to kind of hang out with, but we just don't oftentimes have the time, or we don't feel like it's something that we want. And I'll just speak for myself. It's something that I really want, but it's not, I guess, enough of a priority where I'm willing to sacrifice my own time or my own resting or what have you in order to get it yet. There's just like way too much going on. So there's like a priority list. And I think it's at the bottom. I would like it to be a little bit more at the top, but I just feel like the way the friendships, female friendships can change over the years is so significant. And I think at this stage, we start to realize, like I realize I have been going and going for a lot of years, like 10 plus years at this point, almost 12 years of being a mom, being a parent, having the schedule be not really about me. And I'm at that point now where and obviously this helps as your kids get older and they can just do more for themselves and they start having a little bit more of a life, whether it's like a sleepover or we allow them to, you know, go to the mall and hang out for a couple hours, whatever. But I feel like I'm finally at the age where I'm like, I'm ready to take a step back and start really focusing on the areas of my life that I want to change. And I think female friendships for me is something that I do want to foster more of. And I get this question often where it's like, how do you make friends and how do you meet people and all of those kind of things. But let's talk about female friendships or just like midlife kind of stuff, because in your 20s, I could text my friend at like, 3:00 in the afternoon or like right when we got out of work and we could meet and have a drink and we just had like all the time in the world. And we don't live in that world right now and we just don't have it. And then I think there's this like huge thing where we're all going through perimenopause at this age and we're so incredibly exhausted. And then there's this kind of like almost like redefining friendships. So for me, I am a quality, not quantity person. I would rather have like a couple of like go-to solid, deep friendships than having a bunch of acquaintances. I've always been like that. But I realize the benefit of the acquaintances is that there's nothing wrong with sitting at the field, for example, and talking to that one mom that may not necessarily be kindred spirit, my best friend, my soul sister, but she's funny. I can shoot the shit with her. We can have a good time. And then like, that's what that friendship is for. So over the years with friendships, I realized that I need to start putting people in boxes and not trying to get them to be everything that I would want them to be and not being so hurt and offended when they're not being who I would want them to be. So I would say rule number one is the people that you do have in your life, what is the box that they need to be in? Is it your sister, but she's not, your best friend in the whole world? Is it the acquaintance that you have on the baseball field, the mom that you like to sit near, but you're not going to call her at 3 a.m. and you may not even do anything else with her other than just sit at the game and like shoot the shit with her? Is there another, woman friend that you have met that you have felt like a good just camaraderie between the two of you? Like you felt like maybe you guys were kind of like vibing, and do you feel confident enough in yourself to be able to put yourself out there and reach out? And I think that's the biggest thing with looking at any area of your life, and we'll just use friendships as the example, is if this is something that is missing from your life and you really want it to change, what are you willing to do? How are you willing to be uncomfortable in order to get this area of your life to look different? I think the only way anything's going to be able to happen is if you're comfortable with saying, I'm not going to take it personally if someone says no, but I'm also not going to wait around for someone else to pick me as their friend and ask me to go out to dinner. I'm going to just make it happen for myself. That's a confident person. And I think that's a person that just, I'm not willing to just like sit around and like wait for maybe life to give me the thing that I want it to give me. After I got divorced, one of the first things that I knew I needed to work on was my relationships with women, meaning I had none. And I really needed girlfriends more than I needed to be dating and in a relationship with a man. So that was like the first thing that I kind of fostered. And I think that's where I learned that not every woman is going to be your best friend, but it doesn't mean that she shouldn't be in your life and that you can't use her for what she is supposed to be there for. So I had one friend at the time that we would randomly every now and then go out for dinner. Maybe we'd go on like a little bit of a roll of going out at night, for dinner when Ryan would be with his dad and I just had nothing to do. We went on a couple trips together, but I probably wasn't going to call her at 2 a.m. because we just didn't have that kind of relationship. She was great fun, all the things, but everyone should be in a box of what it is that they're willing to be in your life. And you see who people are over time. Is this person going to be my soul sister? Is this person going to be the woman that I go out for dinner with and have a really good time? So I think, like step number one is, can you accept who people are in your life? What are the things that they do or have that are great, and not trying to change them into who you would want them to be. It didn't mean just because I had those couple of friends that I could like go out with and go out for dinner with and have fun with and do those like social activities with, it didn't mean that I still didn't crave more of like that kindred spirit, that best friend person. And I ended up finding that in a mom friend that I met through just living near her. Our kids were the same age. She had a girl, I had a boy, and she was the closest thing to a best friend that I had had in a few years. But she was not also the person that I would go out for dinner with or go out on a Friday night, because she was married and she had a kid and she wanted to be home and doing that kind of, and being in that phase of her life. But I could call her at 2 a.m. if I needed her. So she was that person. So she wasn't going to be that I'm going to go out for dinner, or go to a Red Sox game with her, or go to a concert, or travel to Aruba or whatever with her. But if I needed her, she was down. And she was my best friend in that sense, right? So I think it's all about accepting who people are, putting them in boxes, and be willing to get outside of your comfort zone, whether that is dating apps. When I first got divorced, I went on meetup.com and I created a meetup group, and it was like single moms in their 30s. That was it. If you were a single mom in your 30, I was down to meet you and to see if we kind of vibed. And yeah, it's like dating, but there is no pressure because we don't have to have sexual chemistry. I'm not going to sleep with you. We're just trying to see if like we could vibe as friends. And I think in that sense, again, if you take a step back, there might be a woman that you meet in that kind of a situation where it's like an online app or something like that, where you guys like to hike and you guys can go hiking together. Or you like to play golf and you can try to get like a foursome together, or you like to go to concerts and so does she. But I think the most important thing was she was single. She was either single or she was a single mom, because any woman that was married, and had as young of a kid as I had, was probably not wanting to leave the house on a Friday night and go out for dinner with me when my son was with his dad. So that was really important. And I think it was also about, I wanted to meet other single moms at the time that had known what it feels like to go through what I was going through, which was, it was sad on Christmas morning when I had to like have him till 1 o'clock and then give him up, or wake up on Christmas morning and my son wasn't there and then get him at 1 o'clock, and understand what it feels like to be a single mom and to help, if I needed help, or, hey, I'm sick, and like they came by and like brought over chicken soup. And even now I have a mom friend who is a single mom. And even though I like to think I still am at times, because Jason and I have 2 houses, and he does his time during the school week with the boys, and then I have my time with Ryan during the week where it's just him and I, because our kids are 40 minutes apart, so we can't really ever have like a blended family like that, or meaning like we all live together and stuff. But I'm not, because if I needed something, someone's there. And even now, my parents live like 15 minutes away. They never did before after I got divorced. They lived an hour and 15 minutes away. So I was very, very much alone at the time. And the mom friend that I have now, I think once you become a single mom, you never lose that. Even though you get remarried or you meet someone or you move on with your life, like you just have a soft spot for it. And I always had a soft spot for it because I was raised by a single mother. So I always had that protective vibe over her. And so even now, when my friend who is a single mom, if she's not feeling well, or if I see her, I'm like, hey, text me if you need me, like always making sure that she understands that she's not alone and that I'm here if she needs me, if she wants to take me up on the offer. And if not, I can't force anyone to, hey, let me help you, please come here. You tell me your problems, but I'm here if you need me, type of a thing. But I think the aspects of friendships changing is something that we crave. And again, if you're a quality, not quantity person, you're going to crave it in a different way. You're going to want more substance to your relationships versus just, hey, let's have a good time. And I have those friends that are, I don't want to say surface level, but they're acquaintances, right? We can have a good time, we can have a laugh, but I'm probably not going to call you at 3 a.m. And I think for me, it's rare to meet the soul sister. And that I think is next on the list of what I'm going to manifest, because I haven't had it in probably, I don't even know, maybe like 15 years, maybe even 20 years of not having that. I can do anything with you. I can go out for dinner with you on a Friday night. We can go to a concert. We can go for a walk. I can talk to you at 3 a.m. Just that like all around best friend. I obviously have it in Jason, but you need it in another female. And I think and I have it in I don't have it in my mom because she ain't going for a walk with me. I'll tell you that right now. But I think you know where I'm going with this and there goes the sun, if you're watching this on YouTube. But that's next on the manifestation list. Wow, it just got really dark. If you guys are on YouTube watching this, like the cloud just came in and there's no light on this video right now other than this ring light. Money well spent, I'll tell you that. And right behind me, if you guys are on YouTube watching this, I have my blind shut to the back door of my backyard because landscapers are back there putting new grass down on different areas of the yard. There's a lot going on right now. But anyways, so I don't want to say let's lower the bar too a little bit. Like, yes, I'm definitely trying to manifest that like soul friendship for sure. But over the years, I had to learn how to lower the bar and that not everyone is going to be that person in my life, and really seeing the benefit of having different acquaintances versus always thinking that every person I meet should be this type of a person. I think when you start having those kind of expectations, you're always going to be disappointed because an expectation is what you would want to have happen, and you miss the joy of who this person is and how they can contribute to your life when all you're focusing on is what they can't give you. If you can start to focus more on what it is that they can give you and the pros that they do have, then at least I honestly truly feel that any relationship, whether it's a parent, whether it's a friendship, maybe not a partner necessarily, because we should probably just be picking him a little bit better, to be honest with you. But any of the other relationships in your life that aren't hugely significant relationships, like, of course, our parents are significant relationships, but they're kind of not, because they're not living with you, hopefully, and they shouldn't have that much of an influence over your life, hopefully, and we should be learning by now who they are and what they're capable of, hopefully. I think, I don't have a relationship with my father, my real father. I have my mother, who's my best friend, and then my stepfather, who's been in my life since I was probably about 7, maybe 6, I think 7. But my real father, I don't have a relationship with, and I haven't actually even seen him in probably 10 years. And before that kind of falling out happened, I had already really accepted who he was in a lot of ways. And I think even now, at this point, we don't have a relationship because he doesn't want one, because I would be more than willing to have one, because I've accepted who he is and what he's capable of giving. And I think when you can accept who a person is, then you can let go of the pain of the expectation that you had on who you thought they should be in your life, and you start to just see what they can contribute to your life and the things that they can give. I do think, however, when there's just too many cons in any relationship, then obviously that's just a person that shouldn't be in your life at all. And instead of trying to fight this and feel this anger towards who this person is or how they've hurt you or what they've done, instead try having more compassion for them and the fact that they are wounded and have absolutely no idea. And even now, the fact that I had reached out, I don't even know how long ago, maybe now 8 years or something like that, maybe 7, and reached out and said, hey, look, if I ever saw you on the street, I just want to make sure that there's no uncomfortable vibes, because there isn't. And I said, if you ever want to reach out, I'm always here. And he obviously knows my number and I still have his, but no phone call has been made. And it's because he can't sit with who he is, the type of father that he was. And I have compassion for that. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with anyone that can't contribute 50-50 to the relationship. And that's part of the reason why we don't really have a relationship, is because I was no longer willing to tolerate a relationship where there isn't a 50-50 in that relationship. And I think friendships are the same too. I think any friendship that I've had in the last 10 years that have fizzled is because I felt like I was putting in more than the other person was willing to put in. And when I took a step back, I realized no effort was made. And then the friendship goes down the tubes and you don't see that person again. So, and that goes for any relationship that you have. If you stop showing up as the giver, as the fixer, as the one making the plans, does that person call? Does that person ever reach out? And if they don't, well, unfortunately, your relationship isn't as meaningful to them as it is to you, or they just want a different type of relationship with you than you would want. So which one is it? Which one needs to change? I have friendships where I have accepted that they're not going to put in the effort. No bad blood whatsoever. I'm still friends with these people. I'm still friends with this one particular person I'm thinking of, but there's no real effort back. Like, they don't want to talk all the time. And, again, I don't take it personally because everyone's busy, everyone has lives. But if it was important to you, of course, you would foster the relationship. But again, I don't take that personally. I don't think like that's a reflection of me. I think it's just who that person is. That's it. I think when you take it personally, then you start to get annoyed, upset, hurt. You feel like there's something wrong with you. Like, why can't I hold a friendship, or why, whatever. And then what I've noticed is the people that tend to have a lot of people around them are also the people that have a hard time forming deep connections with people. People are interchangeable. I can drop you and find another person. There's no real deep connection between you and that other person. There's no respect between you and another person. It's just they're just surface level relationships. And if you see a person that might have a significant relationship in their life, i.e., a relationship with their parent or a relationship with a spouse or a partner, it's still not going to be a true, deep emotional connection. It's just not. It's not going to be, because if you crave a lot of acquaintances, you can't there's only so much energy you have, and you can't put that much energy into all of these surface level relationships when you should be taking a lot of that energy and putting it into one meaningful relationship with a person. And also too, if you're wounded and you're not comfortable with being vulnerable and letting someone in that kind of deep way, you got two things going against you, and you're definitely not going to have the type of relationships that I know I want in my life, and I think a lot of you guys do as well. So yes, we're at a point in our lives where friendships are changing, where they're not the way they used to be. Maybe we've lost some friends along the way. I know I have. I had lost right after I got divorced. There was a couple of significant relationships that just went away because I realized they're not good relationships. They're not healthy relationships. I don't feel good about myself when I leave these relationships. And I think the more sensitive you are and the more, I don't want to just say like empathetic. That's not just the word either. I guess just if you're a deeper person, then you do expect more out of friendships, and you can accept what people are capable of. It took me a long time for me to start accepting what people are capable of and not take it personally or not feel so hurt by it. But then I realized also too, I'm not a person that's just willing to accept a relationship that isn't 50-50, that I'm giving and the other person isn't, or that I don't feel good about myself around that person. To me, that best friend is your cheerleader. I mean, that's the one person you go to. That's the person that has your back. I mean, and I say this to clients when we're talking about dating, and I'm like, look, you're looking for a partner. You're really just looking for a best friend that you have sex with. That's it. I mean, not to say that the way Jason is my best friend is the same way, a female friendship would be. No, those are two different types of best friends, but it's the same type of relationship where I can fully be myself. You support me in ways that are just undeniable. You remind me of who I am when I can't see myself, or you see myself really clearly. You see me really clearly than I can sometimes. It's just this like beautiful like yin and yang, and the relationship is very easy. I have found the relationships where they just require like so much effort and work constantly, and someone's never happy and they're always going to you about what you did to hurt them, and it's just like any romantic relationship. Yes, you can take a step back and listen to what this person has to say, and maybe there are some things that you do need to work on or change about yourself, but are you also just not right for this person? Have you outgrown this relationship? I can't tell you. Definitely in my early 30s, I feel like that was that point where I said to myself, for the people that were in my life, friendships, these were like long-term friendships, that if I would have met you today, I would never be friends with you. I mean, then why are we still doing this dance? Like, you just have outgrown people and relationships and friendships. And I think that's okay. And thinking about the type of person, it's no different than a romantic partner. I think as you get older, you start to kind of dwindle down the list, and you get to like the key things the significant things that you want in a friendship, a romantic relationship that you probably didn't get in prior relationships, that you really want now, or you just realize maturity wise that some of the things that I kind of liked in you or valued in you, like I don't need right now. Do you know what I mean? And just different stages of life that you're at and what you expect from friendships at this stage of life. I think that's really important too. But let me know your comments down below, because one of the things that I get often, especially when I've coached men and women who are coming out of marriages and they're getting divorced and now they're newly single, one of the things that I think keeps them in overthinking and dwelling and sadness is the fact that they don't have enough support. And I don't mean they don't have friends and family, or they don't have people that love and care about them. Absolutely not. And they have relationships in their life, yes, but they don't have those like fun relationships. They either don't have enough friends in their life, or they don't have enough of a social life. And I think if you have those two things in your, going for you, and mixed in with you're working on your mindset, You're taking full responsibility for how you feel in every moment. You're parenting yourself. You're doing that kind of work. If you have those two things, getting through any transition or difficult time is going to be way easier, because those are really the anchors that kind of keep you going. I mean, definitely anything having to do with self. So any work that you're doing on yourself, self-parenting, your inner dialogue, staying present, being in the moments, self-talk, overcoming fear, like all the things that I talk about. If you're really, really serious and focused on those things, and part of it, and those things are mental health, but they're also spirituality or religion or whatever you want to, whatever you believe in. But there's a little bit of that, and there's a little bit of psychology and logic. And when you have those two things, that really helps the self to get through transitions in life, mixed in with, okay, I have some things to look forward to, and I have a fun social life, and I have some good friendships that I can lean on when I really need them, that know who I am, that won't let me fall, that will pick me up when I'm down. But I'm also not reliant on them in unhealthy ways the way I was before, right? I'm not codependent on those relationships. I don't feel bad about myself if someone says no to an invitation. So now that we're in our 40s and relationships have started to kind of like pivot, maybe because we just don't have the time to like really foster them, is this, because look, if you're here, then clearly friendships or building friendships and having more quality relationships in your life are important to you. Maybe you are married, you're in a great relationship, but you're a mom and you stay home full time, and that's isolating and it's lonely, because I've done it and I've been there. Maybe you're in your mid 40s and your kids are older and you're married, or you have a boyfriend or girlfriend and you're happy, but I want to go on a Friday night with some girls, and I want to laugh, and I want to be able to relate and talk about the things that I'm going with, that I'm struggling with, that only they can understand too, because they're women and they're like-minded, right? Or maybe not. Maybe you're single and you're just like, I need friends. I need the friend that I go do yoga with. I need a friend that I can go for a walk with. I need a friend that I can go out for dinner with on a Friday night. And how do we make those relationships happen? Two things. One is, energetically, you have to be in a good space, meaning there's no fear, there's no lack, there's no, oh, I don't have these friendships, so I'm pathetic, or, oh, I'm never going to meet this person. I really, really believe in visualization and manifestation. I believe it wholeheartedly. I've seen it work in my life in probably 3 different ways, maybe 4. Definitely this house. I manifested this house. Jason, I did. And honestly, my business, the success of my business and what I was able to accomplish, what I have been able to accomplish, is all due to working on myself, visualization, manifestation, my energy being in the right vibration, and just not stopping. If you want something bad enough, you will actually make it happen for yourself. So for me, it's, what kind of friendships do you really want? Understanding what that looks like, and how can I get out of my comfort zone to actually make this happen? Because me just sitting around and hoping I just bump into someone and meet someone and it works, it's probably not going to happen. So putting yourself out there, not being afraid to ask someone to go have a cup of coffee or to go out for dinner with, not being offended if someone doesn't text you back, or if someone says no, or you thought, a relationship was going to come of this, and this is true for dating too, and then it just doesn't. That's okay. It just wasn't your people. Or maybe some people are just acquaintances and we just use them for what they are, right? And enjoying them for what they can contribute to our lives, but still seeking out whatever it is that you're seeking out, whether it is a kindred spirit. And again, we can apply this to dating as well, and those types of relationships, same thing. But I just think it's very important to understand who you are, what you're looking for, put yourself out there, not be afraid to hear no. I think being able to, I don't want to say get rejected, because I don't look at it as like rejection. Like, okay, I ask you out for dinner and you don't want to go, and then you never call me back to like reschedule anything. Okay. I don't think like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, that's why she didn't. No, she didn't, for whatever her reasons are. Like, and that's okay. That's just not my person. Maybe not at this stage of her life, but it's just, that's it. I always look at rejection as it's something that's protecting me from maybe not having the quality friendship or relationship that I deserve in my life. So I always look at it as a good thing, and you should too, because then you don't take it personally and you don't stay stuck feeling like why is this happening to me? Why did this person leave me? Why is this person not returning my call? Why do they never make plans? And just accepting something and seeing it as not a personal attack on you, but actually a form of protection, then you can start like walking around and feeling a little bit better about your life and what happens to you. But I also think if you're not happy with yourself internally, then no amount of, you're not going to be able to accept these things and just like move on gracefully if you haven't done that work on yourself, because the cup needs to be full. And if the cup is full, then when rejections happen or bad things happen, doesn't mean you're not going to feel. You absolutely are, but it's not going to, if my cup's full and something happens and it takes a little bit from that cup, it's easier for me to just top it off versus already having, a semi-empty cup, and then you just completely wiped me out by rejecting me or saying no to me. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. I love analogies. I'm a good analogy person. I think it just helps to like understand a concept if you can swing a good analogy in there. And you guys know, if any of you have ever worked with me or been on the phone with me, I've had so many people over the years, and like I had one guy, and throughout the whole time of us working together, he constantly was like, you are damn good at analogies. And I just remember, I know exactly his name, everything, what he looked like, because he would say it all the time. He's like, I love it, you're so good at making me understand these concepts. But anyways, I hope this helped you. Look, if there's any takeaways, because I'm in the same boat as you, 44, in the midst of my 40s, kids are busy, weekend schedules are out of control. And I mean out of control. You should see the calendar hanging on my fridge right now. And I still forget it. It's in my phone. It's hanging on the fridge. And I'm still like, okay, Thursday, we have basketball tryouts. Okay, we got to go to the soccer game here. Okay, he's got this. I mean, it's absolutely insane. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. It's so much. So it's easy to neglect ourselves. It's easy to put things that should be a priority for us, that mean a lot to us, that we want, to put it on the back burner. But I think we have to start with being, first of all, what do you really want? I know at this stage, I really would like to find that one or two, women that are just the go-tos, right? Like I have a lot of good chunk of female friends, acquaintances, some really good friendships. But I want that like solid ride or die. We could do anything together, drive cross country, own a business together, all that kind of stuff. Some people I know are in the comments are going to say, no, you shouldn't own a business with anyone. I'm just saying that it's not really going to happen. Well, maybe, who knows? Never say never. But anyways, that's just what I'm ready for that. And I really want to manifest that. And I know a lot of you are in the same boat in terms of really wanting good relationships and friendships in your life. So let's work on this together. Number one, we got to get clear on what it is that we want. Number two, we got to have really good energy surrounding it. So no lack, no fear, no any of those things. And number three, we got to be willing to get outside of our comfort zone in order to make things happen. Whether that is going on, I think Bumble, BFF is a thing. I'm sure there's plenty of like different like apps in order to like meet people and make friends now. For me, I know that I think I just need to get out of my comfort zone a little bit more with some of the women that I already know and asking them to do something. I'm not offended when someone says no, but just making that a priority to cultivate some relationships for me, I think is definitely at the top of the list. So I'm going to hold you accountable. You hold me accountable. We'll touch base in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you went on your walk. You got your steps in. Like I always say, I'm going to go do my 3-mile walk later on this afternoon. Ryan's almost home from school. And I feel like the midday walk, I don't know, you tell me if you guys are in your walking phases of life, but I am definitely like every midlife woman in my neighborhood that's like, I just love walking right now. And I'll do like a light jog at the end, but I swear my legs are tighter, my butt's it's just all around. I'm seeing the benefits of just actually walking. You don't have to do I have no desire to do high intensity stuff that I did in my early 30s, because in my early 30s, I was going through a divorce. I was newly single, a brand new mom, left for someone else. I mean, I had rage inside of me. And that's exactly what I needed the type of workout that I needed at that phase of my life. And at this phase, I am not really in the yoga stage where I just straight up want meditation, but I just want to zen out, like, and just go for a walk. I watch my videos. I'm starting to get more steps in, like go longer in the same amount of time. So that's good. That means my endurance is getting better. But I just love it. Although midday can go either way. If I do a midday walk, which sometimes I don't love to do, but sometimes the minute I get out of bed, I don't want to do my walk either because I haven't eaten enough yet. I just don't have that energy. But sometimes the midday can either be like amazing and it's such a good workout, or sometimes I'm like, why did I do this? I should have just done it in the morning. So we're just gonna roll the dice and see how today goes. I hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for joining and listening. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.